Thank you for logging on. Thank you for tuning in. Yours truly, Diamond K, in here. And you can check me out on UstreamRadio.com every Monday night, 11:30 p.m. for the Pro Wrestling Remix, where we talk about the week in pro wrestling. And on the heels of the old school Raw, which emanated right here in Baltimore, Maryland. And the show started off with the complete classic WWE intro. There was microphones, all classic, and of course the commentators in that very, very corny, old school WWE attire, the blazers, and the whole thing. But the show opened up with the very legendary Ric Flair kicking the show off. As always, here in Baltimore, he received a very warm welcome, befitting of a 16-time world champion. Ric Flair has wrestled many a bout here in the Mid-Atlantic area with Crockett Promotions, WCW, WWF, and WWE. So Ric Flair always getting love here. And I remember once, I guess this was probably in the 90s, I guess like the mid-90s, I stood in line to get Ric Flair's autograph before a WCW show. So definitely was good to see Ric Flair back on the screen. Now, Randy Orton came to the ring with both belts and announced that he wanted to talk about the upcoming Royal Rumble, his match with John Cena. He asked Ric Flair to give him some time to speak, and he set the tone with his body language, at least, that he was going to be rude to the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, as he was eventually even threatening, menacingly threatening Ric Flair. Finally, Cena came out to make the save. Cena came out to, as always, a mixed crowd response, and he was able to jump in the ring before things got physical. Now, as the evening progressed, we saw in the opening match the Usos teaming with Rey Mysterio versus the Wyatt family and their newest member, Daniel Bryan. Things broke down quickly. It seems to me as if we're gearing towards a Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan match somewhere down the line, possibly WrestleMania. We will have to see. Batista, it was announced, will make his in-ring return at the 2014 Royal Rumble, but he will also be on the January 20th edition of Raw. Batista coming back, did not know when, but I knew eventually he would resurface, and it seems that they're gearing towards some type of a confrontation with Alberto Del Rio, which leads me to believe that Batista coming back is going to be a face. Not necessarily a bad idea. Piper's Pit was hosted, of course, by the Hall of Famer, Roddy Piper, and it featured The Shield. As they've been doing in the last few weeks, it seems like they're trying to break up Roman Reigns, at least break him off from the group. Piper and Dean Ambrose traded insults before CM Punk and the New Age Outlaws made the save. Piper, who's definitely lost a lot of steps, was able to get across the point that he was trying to make and that he was supposed to make, and that is planting more seeds for the eventual breakup of the Shield, or at least the elevation of Roman Reigns. One thing I did not like about this, Piper's Pit, I really liked it not being in the ring. I liked it being off to the side, but they had it in the ring. Miz TV, Chris Jericho, Monday Night Jericho style, which I don't really like. I think that in the ring, we need to, break the monotony up. We don't have to, everything doesn't have to happen in the ring. I think wrestling should happen in the ring, personally. But speaking of Alberto Del Rio, he made quick work of Sin Cara. Now, I posted this on Twitter, and of course you can follow me at the Diamond K Show on Twitter. I hope to never see Sin Cara wrestle Alberto Del Rio at least for another 5 years. I am like I can't do it anymore. Anytime that Sin Cara comes out to wrestle Alberto Del Rio, I'm going to either turn the channel, leave the room, something. I can't stand it anymore. But Alberto Del Rio calling out, among others, Batista and Alberto Del Rio, one of the past winners of the Royal Rumble, and actually won in 2011. I continue to be impressed with Cody Rhodes and Goldust as they picked up the victory over We the People, who interestingly gets some type of crowd response. I mean, they get some fans. They have fans in every city that they go to. Very surprisingly, but the tag team champions able to get the victory over Swagger and the rest of the crew. Also, with Old School Raw, you're going to get these appearances. You're going to get to see people that you haven't seen, and sometimes, like in the case of Sergeant Slaughter, somebody that you see seemingly all the time. But I was very happy to see somebody different in DDP. However, he was in a predictable segment with Booker T and Ron Simmons. But it was cool, and it broke up the monotony of things. They made a very big deal, this Old School Raw 2014, over who was the guest ref in a rematch between the Great Khali and Damien Sandow. The WWE Universe voted on it via the WWE app. I voted for Arn Anderson personally, but Sergeant Slaughter won the vote. And later on, when they finally brought all of the old school legends out, I saw Arn Anderson seemingly walking with a difficult limp, and I don't think he actually could have refereed the match. But all in all, Sergeant Slaughter was the referee, and Great Khali getting the victory after Damien Sandow actually had his foot on the ropes. Sergeant Slaughter was able to get the caramel clutch in. Not sure where they're going with this, but definitely he had his foot on the ropes. So we will probably see another match between Great Khali and Damien Sandow. Very entertaining promo tonight from Paul Heyman for Brock Lesnar, who challenges the winner of Cena versus Orton. Mark Henry came out to avenge his beatdown from last week, but he was quickly dismantled by Brock Lesnar. However, the Big Show also made his return and sent Brock Lesnar running after being hip-tossed violently by the Big Show. Those two, Brock Lesnar and the Big Show, have had some wars in the past, and it looks like they are on a collision course very soon. We also got to see the return of Too Cool and Rikishi, only on Old School Raw, as there was a six-man match with Too Cool, Rikishi, and 3MB, which was entertaining for the crowd. It was nice to see all the legends. They actually brought all of the legends out on the stage and announced them individually. But as always, the WWE found a way to try and embarrass them, this time with Bad News Barrett being the one to do the honors, so to speak. So he tore down the legends after they were announced to much fanfare. Of course, Ric Flair getting the most response, but there was a lot of good responses from the crowd. I'm glad to see them, still getting remembered. We even saw Nikolai Volkov, who had his heyday in the mid '80s, maybe the early '80s might be better suited for that. Of course, every Monday, if you're just tuning in, every Monday, 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time, yours truly, Diamond K, giving you the rundown and talking this week in wrestling. once we get to the end of this old school Raw show, we're going to talk about the big announcement that WWE is going to be making on Wednesday. So in the main event, the New Age Outlaws were in the corner of CM Punk after being introduced by Mean Gene Okerlund. And as always, there was a little bit of a reference to his old hotline. One thing that I really am starting to notice that it's really been a long while since a lot of these legends were out there, and the response for the legends gets less, and the people get the jokes less now, and it's really ushering in, as you can see, it's really a new generation coming in. A lot of jokes, I mean, if it's something from 1995, you're talking almost 20 years ago for the joke. So it's really, some of the things are really starting to age. But as I said, the New Age Outlaws in the corner of CM Punk as he took on Roman Reigns in a pretty good match. You got participation and interference on both sides, and it looks as if the New Age Outlaws may be back to stay, at least for the time being. In the end, after a couple of near falls, Roman came out with the victory. The surprise of the evening, for me and a lot of people, I'm sure, was the return of Jake the Snake Roberts here in 2014. It was good to see him. He's had a lot of troubles over the years and had some replacement work done. A lot of people calling for the DDT and wishing that they could see it. But he recently had some replacement, something replaced on his body. And I don't know if the DDT would have worked out too well. However, he had a brand new snake, or it was brand new to me. New Damien, yellowish, looked pretty scary. But Jake the Snake, good to see him. He looks to be doing very well, as he was a part of DDT's house, accountability house, and he looks to be doing a lot better, and definitely has lost some weight. So he had fun at the expense of Dean Ambrose, who was the recipient of the snake. It was all fun. That's how the show ended. All in all, I give the old school Raw 2 thumbs up. The crowd seemed to enjoy it. I enjoyed it as I sat and watched it in its entirety. And you, give me your thoughts, your views. Did you like the old school Raw? Did you not like the old school Raw? Hit me up on Twitter at The Diamond K Show. Also on Instagram at The Diamond K Show. Now, with that being said, it was announced earlier today that the WWE would be making their big announcement. This is the announcement that we've been hearing about for quite some time, and most people believe that it is going to be the announcement of the long-awaited WWE Network. Now, of course, we don't know exactly the details of the network, but we are definitely assuming that it is going to be the announcement of, finally, of the WWE Network. And, with that being said, it's just, it's about time. And I'm glad, and I'm sure that this is going to be something big for all wrestling fans. Vince McMahon, along with Triple H, John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Shawn Michaels, they will all be on hand for the announcement, which will be streamed live on WWE.com, the WWE app, their YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, Yahoo, Google, Pinterest, and others. Definitely mark your calendars for this. We will be here immediately following the announcement to talk about the repercussions and whatever was announced. And we'll be here for a special show on Wednesday. So, we'll have to see. Hopefully it is the launch of the network. It is about time for that, and definitely think it's about time for that. So, also the Royal Rumble, which will be coming on Sunday, January the 26th. Tune in, UstreamRadio.com. We will have the Pro Wrestling Remix Royal Rumble post-show immediately following that, which we will talk about the show in its entirety, the Royal Rumble, as we get on the road to WrestleMania. The road officially launches with the Royal Rumble. That's how it works, and this year being no exception. One thing that's really good about this time of year, you have 3 weeks. They have 3 weeks to promote this Royal Rumble event, and usually this time in between the last pay-per-view and the Royal Rumble, the last pay-per-view of the year and Royal Rumble, they really get a chance to really hammer home things, and that's one of the good things. One of the good things about this time of year and going into the WrestleMania season. So we're definitely going to keep you posted as things go on, as they develop. Hit me up, as I said, on social media at The Diamond K Show, and check me out every Monday right here for the Pro Wrestling Remix Radio Show. Make sure that you like us on Facebook at Ustream Radio. Wow, amazing. So with that being said, I'm going to close things out. Definitely, as always, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening, and I will see you guys on Wednesday.